Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Temperatures are beginning to cool off just a bit now as that wind has turned to the east. We've got a few clouds overhead filtering out some of that sunshine, and our numbers dropping back into the 40s. 46 in Rockford and Rochelle, 49 now in Freeport. Well, we had lots of sunshine out there, and we still have the sun, just filtered in by a few higher level clouds working through. Our skies will stay mostly clear to partly cloudy going through the night tonight. Temperatures over the next couple of hours will drop down into the 30s, low 30s by the time you wake up tomorrow. Dry the next couple of days, but the warmth and the wind return on Friday. It could come with some thunderstorms Friday night, so timing that out in the First Warn forecast a little later.
Part of a busy Rockford road blocked off after a motorcycle and truck collide. Police say one man sustained serious injuries. A state line lawmaker introduces a bill to keep certain government buildings open. How it could save Rockford's Social Security office. And a new sandwich shop celebrates its opening with a ribbon cutting. The latest developments and businesses in downtown Rockford.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. I'm Mimi Murphy. Wendell is off tonight. Tonight at 6, police and first responders were busy earlier this afternoon responding to a crash involving a motorcycle and a pickup truck. This happened just after 1 near West State and Tay Streets. That's just west of downtown Rockford. Looking at the video, you can see one side of the truck bed is smashed in and the motorcycle appears to be badly damaged. Police were on site blocking off traffic from throughout the area there. Rockford police say one man did sustain serious injuries in the crash. His current condition is unknown. A state line lawmaker introduces a bill to keep all Social Security offices open until after President Donald Trump leaves office. The Keeping Our Field Offices Open Act was introduced by Congressman Eric Sorenson. Social Security offices around the country, including the one in Rockford, have been recommended for closure by the Department of Government Efficiency. It's part of an effort to reduce taxpayer waste. Representative Sorenson's bill would keep the offices open until January 21st, 2029. That's the day after President Trump leaves office. In a statement, Sorenson said, "For so many people in my district, Social Security isn't just a check. It's the difference between putting food on the table or going hungry, affording medication or risking their health. It's a lifeline thousands of people depend on every day." Rockford Mayor Tom McNamara has also voiced his opposition to closing the Rockford Social Security office. The White House has said the proposed building closures would not impact benefits. In downtown Rockford, new businesses are opening their doors. Eyewitness News reporter Tyler Sorenson talked with one of the newest shop owners downtown. And Tyler, what can you tell us?
Well, Mimi, the newest shop is called the Sandwich Spot, and its grand opening is following a trend of small businesses coming to downtown. The name The Sandwich Spot may sound familiar because this is a reopening for owner Linda Derrickson.
This is my 4th location that I've had. The last one I actually sold and moved to Tennessee, and that did not work out. I've been back for a few years now, and I was just looking to start up another shop, and I thought this was a great spot.
The new location is in downtown Rockford on West State Street, an area Derrickson believes is great for foot and car traffic.
It's a great eye spot for downtown. When you come across the bridge, you're just right here in the public eye of everybody that works in the downtown community.
A community that's growing, with city leaders that are pleased to see new businesses opening up in the downtown area.
So I'm super excited because yet another business wants to do business here on the west side of downtown Rockford, and I'm just so excited to have a new business in the 13th Ward.
With more people moving into the center of the city, the need for services is expected to increase.
Well, I think there should be more businesses should be coming in Rockford, according to the the apartment complexes that are here in Rockford. So I expect there should be more businesses.
More businesses and more people for downtown Rockford and the Sandwich Spot.
I have a great following, lots of great customers, and then many more new ones to come.
Serving downtown Rockford, one sandwich at a time. The Sandwich Spot is now officially open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Tyler. Demolitions begun at Rockford Plaza to make way for a new coffee shop. Crews were working today tearing down a building on Hollister Avenue. This is to make room for a new Starbucks. The new location will have a drive-through. It will stand in place of the building that once housed Ideal Optical, City Nails, and First Staffing. The opening date for the new Starbucks has not yet been announced. Local leaders and educators showed their support for early childhood investments across the state. Members of Ready Nation, Illinois visited Summerdale Early Childhood Education Center this morning. They discussed a recent poll that showed many employers are concerned about how child care challenges are impacting businesses. 4 out of 5 people said their employees struggle to find affordable, stable child care, and 2/3 noted their business productivity struggling because of this.
We obviously have a very short-term need for workers in our community. However, we can't just think short-term. We have to think long-term. So how do we solve the issue of workforce development starting when they hit preschool? That's really important to building the future workforce.
Ready Nation's survey also found 91% of respondents support greater public investments in child care and early childhood education. Lawmakers in Springfield are getting more information about how farmers are being impacted by recent actions by the Trump administration.
Farmers face so many challenges as it is, and now they must contend with the uncertainty of whether or not these contracts with the government will be honored. We need certainty, and we need certainty so we can continue feeding our communities.
The House Agriculture Committee heard from farmers and other agriculture representatives. They talked about USDA funding freeze, which is impacting several Illinois programs, including one that buys food from farmers and distributes it to those in need. They also testified on the impacts of tariffs on ag products and the delay in getting the Farm Bill approved. Some farmers say they haven't been able to pay their workers, which has led to layoffs. It's the end of an era at Southwest Airlines. Starting in May, bags will no longer fly free. The free checked bags was one of Southwest's biggest selling points, and the airline made it central to its identity as it pitched its unique culture to flyers. But Southwest has been under pressure to boost revenue. Most flyers will have to pay to check bags for flights booked on or after May 28th. Customers with the airline's highest loyalty tier will still get 2 bags free, and flyers with a Southwest credit card will get 1 free bag. Everyone else will have to pay, but the airline hasn't said yet how much. Southwest is also launching a basic fare tier that is non-refundable and does not allow for cancellations. With pneumonia back in the news lately after Pope Francis was hospitalized for nearly a month, one doctor says it's time for a reminder on how to avoid this dangerous condition. OSF Healthcare ED physician Dr. Fred Burke says pneumonia is a lung infection caused by a virus or bacteria. It spreads through respiratory droplets from sneezing or coughing on someone. Dr. Burke says it's important to seek medical attention if you have symptoms like coughing, fever, chills, or shortness of breath.
Some of the complications of pneumonia are one of the common causes is sepsis. And that's just when basically the infection spreads to the blood, which can cause organ failure. The other thing that can cause is respiratory failure too. And those patients may require additional oxygen, or even if it's serious enough, they may require intubation or be placed on life support.
To protect yourself, Dr. Burke recommends washing your hands often, wiping down surfaces, and staying up to date on vaccines. A local museum invites kids to a free story time to promote the importance of reading.
Tracks, the leprechaun tracks, very good. The kids trailed muddy footprints back and forth across the floor.
Tinker Swiss Cottage hosted the reading this morning. It was part of a monthly program sponsored by the YWCA Literacy Council. The theme for March, St. Patrick's Day. Organizers say the goal of these events is to boost literacy rates in Rockford and introduce children to local history.
Having these story times is an amazing opportunity for the Rock River Valley region and really all of Rockford because the literacy rate in Winnebago County is pretty low. So doing events like this really help to boost that as well as boost interest in museums and other cultural institutions in the area.
At the end of today's story time, each child received a book to take home from the YWCA. All this month, we're recognizing local women who are truly remarkable. Tonight, we introduce you to a woman bringing joy to young adults fighting cancer. And coming up tonight at 10, some Rockford University athletes are making state history. Hear from the women's flag football team about their first ever game and victory.
And if you've got plans to be outside this evening, should be pretty comfortable, although cooling off as we get ready to see the sun set. We've got a few clouds out there now. Dry conditions through the end of the week, but it doesn't end that way when the chance for thunderstorms returns. Coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
All this month, we're introducing you to remarkable women here in the state line. Tonight, meet a mother who lost her son Nick to cancer. Ever since, she's made bringing joy to young adults fighting cancer her mission. Her work makes Kelli Ritschel Bailey remarkable. In his senior year of high school, Nick Ritschel received a devastating blow. He was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer.
The one thing that put a smile back on his face was a wish for Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish Foundation grants wishes to seriously ill children up to age 17. While at a cancer treatment center, Nick met Nate, an 18-year-old fellow patient who became a friend.
And I can still hear him busting through the door at the Children's Inn. Mom, we gotta do something. Nate missed out on Make-A-Wish, we gotta help. And at the time, I was trying to save his life.
The night before Nick passed, he asked his mom to help other young people with cancer have a wish too. Kelli established the Nicholas Ritschel Foundation. With the help of friends and family, Nick's wish began with a fundraiser.
We raised enough for 5 wishes, and the very first wish was Nate's. And that was 370 wishes ago.
She's an inspiration, not just to me, not to just her friends or the volunteers, but I think she's an inspiration to the Rockford community.
For the past 13 years, Kelli and a team of dedicated volunteers have been fulfilling Nick's wish, bringing joy to patients in 38 states.
How she does it to be the executive director of Nick's Wish, as well as working a full-time job as an upper-level manager in a private sector. How she does all that. She claims she sleeps, but I have no idea when.
Kelli says granting wishes to young adults and seeing the happiness they bring reminds her that Nick's idea was a great one.
I told you, Mom. And he was right. You know, in the beginning, I did this because Nick asked me. But now I do it because of why Nick asked me. He knew that they need hope.
She is truly remarkable. Here in the state line, it was another sunny, breezy day. Temperatures reached into the 50s. When we come back, Candace lets us know when we can expect strong winds and some rain showers. Our full forecast coming up next.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, just a beautiful picture coming in on our Merced SkyTrack camera here on top of the Supply Corps building and brought to us by Window World as we look off to our west and southwest. Just enough of those higher level cirrus clouds to make for a gorgeous sunset here this evening. So I encourage you, after of course you get done watching the newscast, head on out, enjoy the night, but grab a jacket because it will be a little on the cooler side as we do hold on to that east and northeasterly wind, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. Temperatures are also dropping through the 40s after making it into the 50s here this afternoon. Not quite close to that 70-degree mark we were at yesterday, but still above average. 47 for our weather watcher Jim here in Rockford. That cold front that came through earlier this morning now stalling to the south over central and southern Illinois. You can really tell where that is just by looking at the temperatures. You've got the 70s down to the south and 40s further up to the north. Now that that easterly wind is starting to take hold, it'll push in some cooler air off of Lake Michigan, but Our temperatures will slowly warm over the next couple of days. We still have that north and east wind tomorrow, so it keeps us on the cooler side of the front as that sits to our south. But temperatures tomorrow still a good 10 degrees above our average of the low to mid 40s. We'll cool off again tomorrow night, but as our wind takes a little more of a southeasterly direction, that'll bring us back into the 60s for Thursday. We're dry Thursday, and the wind really then starts to ramp up for Friday. Notice as the wind turns from the southeast and then eventually to the south, that brings our temperatures into the 70s for Friday, which is great. But the downfall to that, it comes with wind, so it may not be all that enjoyable to get out and enjoy, in fact, with those strong southerly winds. We also have the chance for some showers and thunderstorms to return. This, however, looks to impact us after sunset. So this system slowing down a bit. It's a rather strong low pressure system. We'll have some moisture, we'll have some instability. The highest risk for thunderstorms, I think, out to our west during the daylight hours. So majority of our Friday should stay dry. But as we get towards that evening, that line of thunderstorms, especially if it forms into a line out west of the Mississippi River, will work closer to us about 9-10 o'clock. And it's within that there could be some gustier and perhaps some stronger wind gusts and thunderstorms associated with that. That'll take us through the midnight hour into early Saturday before things dry out. However, Saturday gets to be pretty windy. So we look at that threat for some stronger thunderstorms going into Friday, especially for us Friday evening, and it is there. Notice southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, meaning that the possibility of at least a strong to severe thunderstorm is there, something we have to monitor, especially as we go through the next few days. But a couple of things still have to line up. Instability, moisture, and timing may not necessarily be on our side, but it's a strong and dynamic system coming through. Outside of anything thunderstorm related, we've got non-thunderstorm winds gusting on Friday close to 40 miles per hour. Notice the uptick there in the wind Friday night as that line comes through. Saturday, however, I think gets really windy. We could have winds gusting in anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. After that, our temperatures will drop just a bit going into the end of the week, but we warm right back next week.
Candace. Scott's next with sports. The Rock Valley College women's basketball team's gearing up for another trip to nationals. And a former Nick 10 football standout gets a big contract and a new team in NFL free agency.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Another year and another appearance at the national tournament for the Rock Valley College women's basketball team. The Golden Eagles are in it for the 10th time in 13 seasons. They earned their spot in the NJCAA Nationals for D2 on Saturday when they won the Region 4 tournament. And this afternoon they gathered to learn their path in the national tournament, which runs next week in Joplin, Missouri. They watched the bracket reveal show on the internet. And they didn't have to wait long. They found out right off the bat that they are the 17th seed. And they'll face number 16 seed Sunny Niagara next Monday morning. If they win that game, they'll face the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, Kirkwood Community College. As the 17th seed, the Golden Eagles are a bit of an underdog, but they believe they're better than their 25-8 record. They started slow this season, but they're rolling now on a 13-game winning streak.
I actually really like where we're at. You know, we've already seen Kirkwood, and we had them pretty close the first half, let it slip, but we're a whole new team, so I feel like this one's going to be extremely close.
It's a fun experience. It's always great. I'm so proud of my team and my teammates. We've come a long way, and I feel like it gives us a chance to prove that we can do good in this tournament.
What kind of has clicked since that start?
Just realizing that we went through that kind of rough patch, and that's kind of what's made us better, kind of made our relationships a lot stronger, and just having a coach like Daryl who's willing to push you to be better than you were before.
Well, the news is good right now for Rock Valley sophomore Mia Moore. She is one of only 10 players out of all the junior college schools in America at all levels to be named an All-American by the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. Moore averages more than 20 points per game. Did you ever imagine you might get this award?
No, not really. Just grateful for my team. Couldn't do it without them. Coaches, yeah.
How have you improved your game this year?
Definitely just confidence.
It's huge for her, being nominated and voted as one of the top 10 junior college players in the country. No matter what the level it is, by the WBCA, which oversees all governing bodies of basketball.
Well, there's more free agent news in the NFL, some of it involving former East Rabs lineman Robert Jones. Jones is leaving the Dolphins. He's signed a one-year deal with the Cowboys. It's worth almost $5 million. Jones started 17 games at left guard last season for the Dolphins. He allowed 5 sacks. In Dallas, he'll compete for the starting right guard job, where the Cowboys need to replace the retired Zach Martin. The Cubs will be taking top prospect Matt Shaw with them on their Japan trip next week to open the season. Craig Counsell has confirmed that. Shaw was slowed at the start of spring training by a strained muscle, but he has recovered well. He is in the mix to be the Cubs' starting third baseman. Nico Horner will not make the trip to Japan. He needs to keep rehabbing from a tendon injury. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Our first warning, interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. Nice and quiet out there. We've got a few clouds that'll stick with us the next couple of days. Temperatures will be warming as well. We were in the mid-50s this afternoon. Those numbers will climb into the upper 50s tomorrow. 60s on Thursday, 70 but windy for Friday. Watch for some thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday as the winds will stay with us. Temperatures will then drop for the end of the weekend, but should warm back close to that 60-degree mark going into next week.
Looks good. All right, thanks, Candace. And thanks so much for joining us. Have a good evening.